Okay guys, this is a really quick video on mental rehearsal for A-level PE for paper 2, and we are focusing particularly on the Edexcel syllabus. Now this is an area that hasn't really been asked that often. It is an area that is quite small, so it should only take a few minutes on this video. So we're going to look at what it is, we'll look at how to do mental rehearsal, what the advantages and what the drawbacks are. So ready, and let's get on with it. Right, firstly, mental rehearsal is often known as imagery or visualization, and sometimes known as mental practice. So this is an area that is a standalone part of the syllabus, but it also can be used as a cognitive strategy to help one prepare performance, but also reduce anxiety and arousal. We'll talk about the advantages in a minute. So the first bit is where the athlete will be, any of these three would be helpful, but rehearsing a skill in the mind or performance in your mind without necessarily physical movement, visualizing movements, tactics and performance situations. So it could be just like visualizing a penalty shootout, getting yourself ready in case that happens, or visualizing a certain play that a coach has organized and then running it through in your head before you actually go out and do it. It always helps to reflect on previous successful performances, or focusing on your role models and watching in your mind's eye someone else doing the performance. So all these things really help. Like I said, it's a cognitive strategy. Now remember, there's cognitive and there's somatic, and when we're talking about psychology and psychological strategies, and it's helped to prepare the performer. And what it does is when we're doing mental rehearsal, you are stimulating the nerves inside your muscles. Now, there is evidence to say that in research has gone on before where they've looked at people who have been injured, and just the mental rehearsal of movements can stimulate muscle fibers and therefore maintain sort of that muscle physiology and maintain fitness, which is really a beneficial thing. And there have been studies showing that visualization along with training has improved the outcome rather than just doing the training on its own. So really important that it stimulates the same nerves in the muscles that you would be using while doing the movement. And therefore it helps with kinesthetic feedback when we are doing the movement. So we're ready to feel exactly how it should be because you've mentally rehearsed it in your mind's eye. So how do you do it? Right, firstly, you run through the events step by step. So you focus on what you're supposed to do and practice it step by step. It's quite straightforward. And therefore, it allows you to adapt your performances and respond to different situations because you've practiced it in your head, and you can't experience every single situation, but you can practice every single situation in your mind. So often people will visualize the course or specific aspects of the performance. So it might be particular skills, it might be particular movements, and like we said earlier, strategies or tactics, different types of plays. And then you can just pick a sports performer and just think about what they might do. So, for example, the starts or a sprint race, it might be bends in a run. It could be changeovers in a relay, different types of jumps and different landings. Depends on what the movement we're talking about. You just need to pick one and apply it. It's really useful to recall previous success because that will boost your confidence. It can maintain your focus and reduce anxiety. And the more it is ritualized and becomes like a pre-performance routine, it will help improve your overall performance. So doing it regularly before the performance and during the performance. So breaks in play, breaks in like halftime breaks and things like that. So the advantages, there's loads of advantages for this area. So we get blocking out the crowd was the main one, a really particular one. It's selective attention, so you're blocking distractions because you're visualizing and mentally practicing. It helps you get into the right zone, and you've got focus, keywords like focus, reducing errors, concentrating, things like that come into it. Visualizing success, if you're picturing your movement in a positive way, it can improve your confidence and self-efficacy. It helps you reduce anxiety, controls your arousal, and reduces the chance of over-aggression. It can help you plan out tactics and make better decisions on the game on the field, and therefore be more motivated and ultimately improve your performance. And the key word there to get in is improves your likelihood of appropriate dominant response. And particularly these sort of ones are really good. So if the skill is dangerous or too fast, you can slow it down in your mind, practice the intricacies of it. Or if it's really dangerous, you can practice the skill without putting yourself at risk. When injured, and we talked about this earlier, is because you stimulate those muscle fibers without moving, you can maintain an element of performance. And often it's really good when you're not at a venue, but you want to picture yourself at a venue, can help you mentally prepare and therefore get in the right zone when it comes down to it, improve concentration, etc. And finally, what are drawbacks of mental practice? So if the performer is a beginner and they lack experience and knowledge of the skill, then potentially they could practice the wrong skill the wrong way in their head, or might get frustrated with the actual process because it requires a lot of concentration and your ability to imagine the movements. And some people find that awkward and some people find that difficult to do. It ultimately can't replicate the physical demands of physical activity, the cardiovascular endurance that's needed, etc., the agility. You can't replicate that in your mind, but it's so it's not a total replacement for physical practice. And sometimes simple skills really just don't need that sort of mental practice because they're just not worth beneficial for it. So some people might struggle to create that realistic image in their mind because they don't have the imagination, talked about earlier, and may need better guidance to help them. If not, it might go incorrectly. And sometimes it takes a bit of practice and training to be good at your mental practice. And if you do it wrong, then your performance is going to be wrong. So it's really important that it's right when you're practicing. Other people can just find it boring. It's not fun to sit there and just meditate and reflect in your mind. There's imagery and there's mental practice in your head. So some people find that boring, and then others, and some people may resonate with this, but some people overthink as they get high anxiety and just practicing the movement and thinking, oh, what if I do it wrong? And it increases the level of anxiety, which is not a good thing. So that was a really whistle-stop tour on what mental practice is and how it can be done. So best of luck in your exams.